So it appears the bandits have defeated this country. It appears the bandits have defeated the president. It appears the bandits have defeated our security agents because they feel that nobody is marshalling out the order. Nobody is making these bandits to be afraid. That is why they've continued what they've been doing even since the Plateau State massacre. So bandits are now taking advantage of Nigerians on the social media. So guys, you've all heard about the family that was kidnapped in Abuja. I mean, a man with his 5 children. So these bandits killed one of those kids and, you know, they increased their demand. Initially, they demanded for 60 million. And after killing one of the man's daughter, they now increased their demand to 100 million. And as it stands now, they are now saying they want 700 million naira. Nigeria, where are we heading to? This is all because people decided to raise money on the social media. So the bandits are monitoring the reactions from the people. When they saw that Nigerians were willing to donate, they now increased their ransom from 100 million to 700 million. Nigerians, where is Tinubu? Nigerians, see where Buhari left us. Nigeria, look at where the APC has brought Nigeria to. Honestly, we must reject poor governance.
This is the home of the Al-Kadriya family in Zuma town of Buhari Area Council, where the father and 6 of his children were abducted by bandits on the 2nd of January. Although Mr. Mansour was subsequently released, it was for the purpose of going to generate a ransom of 60 million naira. Sadly, while still trying to put together the ransom, on the 13th of January, the family received a call to come identify one of 4 corpses dumped on the outskirts of the FCT. Sadly, this turned out to be his second daughter, Nabiha, a 400-level biological science student at the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. News of Nabiha's death has spawned several reactions, including a crowdfunding to raise the questioned 60 million naira ransom for the release of her other sisters. While Nabiha has been buried, the situation has become complicated as the bandits are now exploiting the sympathy of Nigerians to request a higher ransom of 100 million naira. Although the family members confirm that they have received financial assistance from Nigerians, they say they have not heard from the bandits in the last 24 hours. The family is also pleading with the bandits to accept what has been generated and show mercy. Investigations also reveal that Nabiha and her family were adopted by the same gang of bandits who struck Sagwari Layout Estate, also in Buhari Area Council, but more than 10 kilometers apart, on the 7th of January. These bandits also killed 3 victims from the 10 abducted in Sagwari and dumped their bodies alongside Nabiha's in a community on the outskirts of the FCT. Meanwhile, the head of the vigilante group in the Zuma town, where the family resides, say the once peaceful community has been overtaken by fear.
The mood of the community is that of fear, because what happened is what one never expected. As long as I can remember, we've not had any issue or security challenge here.
The community is also asking for the intervention of the federal government so as to develop the ungoverned large swaths of land and ensure it is not a hideout for thieves.
There are some farms that have been abandoned. You can't go there to harvest. Those who have yams to harvest have decided not to because of the fear. You may be in the farm and then the next thing you will hear somebody greeting you with a strange language. And before you know, you are taken away. So we are in fear, actually. These mountains you see that we once enjoyed have become so terrible for us now. We cannot do anything.
The cow grazing yard is not possible to be in the FCT entirely, because it's causing us a problem, big problem. This is the hideout of all these bandits. Since the greater press in Kau, we are facing problem.
Buhari Area Council borders Kaduna and Niger State and has seen an increase in the spate of bandit attacks since December last year. The council chairman is calling for synergy between the governors of the 2 states and the FCT minister to end the violence.
The attack we are talking about between Niger, Kaduna, FCT and Nasarawa. The governors must come together with the FCT minister to sit up. If not, these people, all they are trying to do, if you look at what they are doing, their strategy, where they are aiming is Federal Capital Territory, which is the eye of Nigeria. And if we should allow these people, they will disgrace us. They will come into Federal Capital Territory itself as they are coming gradually. There are villages around Kaduna side, even in my area. Many people don't longer sleep in their village because they are terrorizing them.
This signboard perforated by bullets tells us about the exchange of gunfire which did take place on that night when Nadiha, her father and 5 of her sisters were adopted by the bandits. Well, sadly, there will be no tales of any heroism on her part after she was killed by the bandits. But the prayers of the family is that the family members who are in captivity are released sometime soon. Ferdinand Duroha, reporting from Buari Area Council.
Kidnappers who abducted 10 people from Sagwari Estate Layout at Dutse in Buari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, on January 7, 2024, have killed 2 more of the abductees. However, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, said the police already initiated a comprehensive plan of action to rescue the victims. He said the force at headquarters was diligently coordinating efforts to address this and prevent any further occurrence, as all hands were on deck to rescue the victims. It was gathered that after killing some of the kidnapped victims, the bandits increased their demand from the initial 60 million naira per person to 100 million naira, and now totaling 700 million naira. Residents said the victims were allegedly killed over the delay in raising the ransom demanded by the kidnappers. The fate of the remaining 5 abducted daughters of the Al-Kadriya family is still hanging in the balance following their kidnapping in the nation's capital, Abuja. The families say they are yet to have any interaction with the abductors in the last 24 hours. Arise correspondent Ferdinand Duroha spoke with some family members.
You can imagine how long these people have been in the hands of their captors. The police paid less attention to what is happening. The military, they are there blocking roads, collecting stipends from Nigerians instead of facing, the security challenges we have today in the country. These people, it does not make sense to them what the ordinary Nigerians go through in the hands of all these terrorists. So you can imagine how wise and how intelligent these bandits have become. And in case you don't know, they've opened a TikTok account. I mean, the bandits, the terrorists, they now have TikTok accounts on the social media. And you know what? They even have followers, meaning some people derive pleasure in what they are doing. So they are very strategic, from 60 million to 100 million. And now their demand is 700 million. Nigerians, where do we go from here?
Meanwhile, First Lady Wike Tinubu has called on security agencies to intensify their efforts in addressing the issue of kidnappings and insecurity in Nigeria. Wike Tinubu also poured out her lamentation over the devastating loss of Nabiha, one of the sisters who was murdered by the kidnappers. She further condoled the grieving Al-Kadriya family and called for fervent prayers for the safe return of the other sisters and every abducted person. All right, Vimbai, we talked about this yesterday, developments here. Unfortunately, we've heard that it's not just the Al-Kadriya family who've been affected by this sad spate of kidnappings. We've also had other families, including the Ariyo family in Abuja, whose daughter, they lost their daughter for Lawrence Ariyo, as well as a 13-year-old. What's your take on this story?
This is heart-wrenching, Ayo. This is absolutely heart-wrenching because this is an ongoing saga. We have this particular incident today. We have another one yesterday, the day before. They're the ones that are unrepeated. And we question what is going on. I want to quote the former Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantamu, who is venting his frustration at what he's calling the lack of use of the NIM SIM policy. So the tools exist, the policies exist that are supposed to help us combat this impunity that is running wild in our country. But out what is going on. Why is the human factor not engaging all these tools, the wealth of wisdom that has been plugged into our system to be able to make our country safe and functional? And then I also want to appeal to my brothers and sisters in the media, because there's so many reports, and I'm sure you'll elaborate on this. When we report on these stories, are we being responsible as media practitioners? Are we fueling the crisis, or are we doing our duty and our responsibility as media practitioners in ensuring that these cases are reported responsibly, in ensuring that we're not adding fuel to fire, in ensuring that we are prioritizing the safety of our people, but also the integrity and the work that the security forces are working? Because no matter what we want to say, the security forces, they're working. They are working. They're doing their best. But we all have to come together to make an effort. So I'm disheartened and also just tired of being disheartened every day. Very tired.
All right. Disheartened, tired, and I'm sure you expressed the feelings and thoughts and sentiments of many Nigerians in terms of being disheartened and tired of feeling this way. Rufai, your take on the story?
So for me, the part I cannot understand is the insensitivity of the government. Yes, First Lady Wike Tinubu made a statement, but I expected President Tinubu to be able to talk about that when he had the chance yesterday. Again, he missed the chance, just like President Tinubu did with his January Day speech. President Tinubu has been missing the chance too much to connect with Nigerians at their lowest ebb. And I'm sure President Tinubu forgets that he is the chief mourner and the father that is supposed to be there for the Nigerian people. He was in Imo yesterday talking about other things, but he never spared a thought for the victims of the kidnap and Abena. That's the height of insensitivity. Because if a leader doesn't spare a thought for people affected in the country, then it shows that there is no level of thing we say here that will be able to bring them back. So that's another opportunity missed, and the speechwriter should do better. Secondly, the insensitivity of the security agencies. A police spokesperson said something yesterday, that Nigerians should not cry more than the bereaved. That's the height of insensitivity. If there is no bereavement, there will be no tears. For the fact that people are crying is that there's a bereavement. And for good measure, that police spokesperson should try to put himself in the shoes of Al-Kadriya. That his only offense is that he was able to build a house with his hard-earned resource, and the government cannot provide security for him as stated in section 14 subsection 2 of the Constitution. So when we talk, we should be careful as security agents. 3, the police IG says, yes, we have put a comprehensive plan in place. We want to see how implementable that comprehensive plan is in place. You need to feed people with information. Yes, we've been able to debunk the story that there was no 700 million Ransom as reported. But when you don't give the media proper information, lies will envelop the space. That's what's happening. The only reason why we can debunk that story is that Ferdinand Duhoroha went there, was able to liaise with the family, and he got concrete information. So, this is a recurrent matter. This is a matter that the police ought to be briefing from time to time. The 4th point is about psychosocial support to the family members. How much can we get psychosocial support? Because they are in a very distraught place as we speak. Nobody wants their family members to be in harm's way. And look at the Rio family too. That man is crying in pain out because his country has failed him. And this is a lawyer that knows the Constitution. So where's the psychosocial support for these people? Does the police even have a veritable arm of a psychosocial support? 5, how quick are we going to mop up or to put up a mop-up counter plan to defeat these terrorists around these areas? Because you see, that area fall in the Grand Terrorism Belt. Buhari is bordered by Niger and Kaduna. The big influx of the terrorists always normally coming through that area. 6, as regards the Minister of Information, former Minister of Communication, making the point as regards the fact that they are not using the need he had done. What they need to do now is what I call a data handshake. What access do the security forces have to the need database? How is it stored? How can it be totally deployed to be able to be used for intelligence and for tracking in cases like this? So rather than complain, can he also sound a note of warning for a proper functional data handshake across the security and the various data sets we have in the country? I rest my case.
Right. A very sad one this morning, and unfortunately, this happened over a week ago, according to reports, 7th of January. And a week and 2 days afterwards, the police are still coming to say that they're trying to contain the situation. A number of things. Unfortunately and sadly, Nabiha Al-Kadriya was not the only person killed. A 13-year-old daughter of the Ariyo family, Folorunsho Ariyo, was also killed, and her body dumped by the wayside for her parents or her family members to identify and bury. She was kidnapped alongside 3 of her siblings and their mom. Her mom was released, and then calls were made, and in the same fashion, almost like a playbook, as with the Al-Kadriya family, she was also killed because of the delay in raising ransom money. I said something yesterday that when people resort to self-help, as in the case of crowdfunding to raise money for criminals to be able to release their children, and you can understand that. As a parent, as a family member, you can understand the desperation of people to pay ransom, even though it said that ransom is illegal, you don't pay ransom. But tell that to a woman who has just seen her first child being killed. Tell that to a father or a mother who has just seen his bright, promising 400-level student killed. Don't pay ransom. When the police or security agencies have failed to meet or to protect lives and properties, it's very difficult to explain that to them. Now, a few things to look around. The presidential candidate of the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, had spoken concerning these, what some people have now described, some headlines describe as a pandemic of kidnapping. We now have a pandemic of kidnapping in Nigeria. Very sad. He said, number one, we must understand that in some instances, poverty and the harsh living conditions exacerbates crime in any society, and that is true. A number of research has gone and study has gone into that. But we must recall that even before the hardship, and the level of hardship as we see now, there have been crime. There's been crime in Nigeria. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like the security operatives are able to handle it. We have highlighted what some of the issues around why they seem almost incapacitated to deal with this issue. Why would a family, a group of people, a number of people in Abuja, if I can put the word, the headquarters of Nigeria, the seat of power, the Federal Capital Territory that should have the muscle and the complement of security, the finest security architecture, be the target? It is brazen, and it is almost taunting the government of Nigeria to say, we're coming to your backyard to perpetuate this crime that has hitherto been pushed to the middle belt, the northern parts. Now they're coming to the center. Very soon, people are saying they may even come to the metropolis and begin to grab numbers of people and go out. So that's a causative factor. Another thing we must also look at is also how lucrative it is. When people are fundraising money for criminal activities, it means that the business is working. Because if you look at the profit margin for a kidnapper, when he goes and spends a few $1 million to ensure he grabs, and then he makes such a surge in profit because people, even including a former minister, are raising funds to meet their demands. Why wouldn't it be attractive for people to pursue that crime? And then add to that, you're doing this illegal activity, and there doesn't seem to be consequences for the actions. Where are the arrests being made? Where is the intelligence? How do we prevent things like this from happening? And this is what we say, it keeps growing until it comes and gets closer to home, and we keep saying, no, it's still in the north, it's still in the middle belt, now it's in Abuja. Where next would they go if the security agencies don't act? And to my final point on this, the president yesterday could have perhaps shown a bit more, a lot more sensitivity to the issues on ground. Now, for the sake of argument, it could be that his body language is a message to the criminals that they were not winning the war. So he was going business as usual while things were happening in the background. I want to believe that that's what's happening. So to show that, okay, I'm still in charge, I'm not moved by what's going on because things are in charge, you will not take charge. But the other aspect of it is that these are human lives on ground. The least that could be done is some show of leadership and empathy to the family, and not going to witness the swearing in of a second tenure governor of Imo State, whose representative already came and said there were too many people who were coming anyway for his inauguration. But we don't need empathies and we don't need presence. What we need is a release and a rescue of these children, a return home of these abducted people. That is the best response that Nigerians need. Yes, we don't need the platitudes, we don't need the announcements. If you can rescue and bring back these children and these individuals who have been abducted, all eyes on the security agencies currently. Rescue Nigeria.
So bandits have defeated Tinubu, bandits have defeated the country. That is just what it looks like, because they understand we don't have, a commander-in-chief. Even if we have, nobody is ushering that order. Nobody is keeping the security chiefs on their toes. Nobody is issuing commands that will make these bandits quick. Nobody is making these bandits to be afraid. That is just the message that have been communicated to these bandits. And that is why you see them doing what they are doing, because they believe that nothing will happen if they do what they do. So there is no going back to all this, except if the president stand up and do the needful. So guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.